Yo! This is the pre-cal fall final review video number 2. Before I get into working problems, I did want to go over the handout that I gave you about the fall final exam for 2020. Alright, so the time of the exam is Monday, December 14th. You will get 2 hours. Usually I only give an hour and a half, but this year I'm giving 2 because of all the virtual learning. Going to give you an extra 30 minutes. It covers sections 1, 2, 3, and 7. You get to use your notebook, which is very helpful. You have to take out all homework sheets. That's why we have a separate tab for homework, and all test review questions. You got to take all that out, and I will check your notebook during the early part of the exam. There will be 20 questions total, 5 from each section. So when I say section, I mean chapter. 5 from chapter 1, 5 from chapter 2, 5 from chapter 3, 5 from chapter 7. All right, I'm only going to do review videos for chapters 1 through 3. All right, chapter 7 we just did. Okay, so I'm going to let you review that on your own, and since it's open notebook, a strict time limit will be enforced, but you get 2 hours, which is more than I usually give. So how should you study? Well, you need to watch all the review videos and fill out the final exam review sheets that you were given. Fill those out. I'm going to leave a few of those on the sheet for you to work on your own, so you need to work those. All right. Another way to study would be to rework the test review sheets. You know, every test we had has a review sheet. You could cover the answers and rework those problems, just depending on how much you need to study. Ask any questions when we have our video calls. Okay, and I can do private calls if necessary. We can do individual calls if you need. You can, if you want, put sticky notes in your notebook to help you be able to turn to a section really quickly. So just kind of label it, and I would, before I even work the test review problems, I'd probably work these. So these problems are selected by me, and I'm the one who wrote the test. So if you go outside of these problems, you're working things that aren't going to be on the test. So I really think that this is where you should go first when you're working problems. After you work the on your own problems on the final exam review sheets that I'm going to work here and then tell you the answers to, go work these. And if you still want to study some more, go back and rework the test review sheets. All right, so let me know if you have any questions about how to study for the final. All right, so we are picking up in this video at number 16. All right, number 16 on the section review. All right, and so number 16 we want to simplify 3 over x plus 3 over 1 over x plus 3. What I need to do is to get this into a single fraction, and then I can flip and multiply. So if we multiply this 3 by x over x, then I'll have the common denominator that I need. So this is 3 over x plus 3 divided by 1 over x plus 3x over x. So now I have 3 over x plus 3, and I did probably one more step than you would do. Now we can just add the tops, 1 plus 3x, and we have the common denominator x. Now let's flip and multiply. So we have 3 over x plus 3. We're going to flip the bottom, times x over 1 plus 3x. And that is 3x over x plus 3 times 1 plus 3x. and we really can't do anything else with that. We could multiply it out. I mean, that's really good. Let's FOIL out the bottom. So that's going to be 3x over x plus 3 plus 3x squared plus 9x. All right, and we could then combine like terms, so I'd have 3x over 3x squared plus 10x plus 3. All right, let's try number 17. So 17 set, we have 3w plus 8 over 5 plus a 2 is equal to 3w over 2. Now, I want to clear that fraction. I need to multiply both sides by the least common denominator to clear the fraction. 5 and 2, the least common denominator would be 10. So 10 over 5 is 2, right? 10 over 5 is 2. So we multiply 2 by 3w plus 8. 10 times 2 plus 20. And then 10 over 2 is 5 times 3w. So that's going to be 6w plus 16 plus 20 is equal to 15w. All right. And so we're going to solve for w here. Let's move that to the right. So we got, 36 is equal to 15w minus 6. So we minus 6w from both sides, right? 36 is going to be 9w. So w is equal to 4. And of course, you can plug that back in and check it if you like. All right. Pause if you need to. So number 18 is, and you work it yourself. The answer is x is equal to 11. All right, number 19, we have our first word problem of many. So it says, a rectangular garden is 3.4 times as long as it is wide. It has a perimeter of 103.84 feet. How wide is the garden? All right, it's always good, I think, to draw a picture. All right, so we can say this is the width. And the length is 3.4 times the width. So 3.4w. 3.4w. So perimeter is just add up all the sides. So we'd have w plus 3.4w plus w plus 3.4w. That's all four sides. And we know that's equal to 103.84. Right? Add w, 3.4, 3.4. That's going to be 8.8 is equal to 103.84. So w, divide both sides by 8.8 is 11.8 feet. Don't forget the units on these word problems. I don't want to ding you for a point for that. All right, number 20. So let me see if I can get this into view here. So it says the perimeter of a triangle is 50 centimeters. First side is 5 centimeters shorter than the second side. Third side is 3 centimeters shorter than twice the length of the first side. Find the length of the shortest side. All right. I kind of like these problems. So let's draw a triangle. Okay, we'll call this side 1, this side 2, and this side 3. So just looking at the problem, it says the first side is 5 centimeters shorter than the second side. So I think we should call the second side x. The first side would be x minus 5. And then the third side is 3 centimeters shorter than twice the length of the first side. Well, the first side, twice the length of that would be 2 times x minus 5. And then it's 3 centimeters shorter than that. So there's our three sides. We have x plus x minus 5 plus 2 times x minus 5 minus 3. That perimeter adds up to 50. So that's x plus x minus 5 plus distribute the 2, 2x minus 10 minus 3 is equal to 50. So on the left side, add up all those x's, you'd have 4x. On the right side, we're going to move that 5 over, make it positive. Move that 10 and that 3 over, make them positive. And you'll have 4x is equal to 68. So 68 over 4 is 17. Now that is the second side, because that's x. We can get the first side. It's x minus 5. So 17 minus 5, that's 12. And our second side, excuse me, I already got the second side. Our third side is 2 times 17 minus 5 minus 3. All right, so that's be 24 minus 3, so 21 centimeters. So make sure if I give you one like this on the test that you label it properly and don't make me try to figure out what side is what. All right, pause the video if you need to, and let's move on to 21. All right, 21 says, let's put this into view. Sam leaves a ball game traveling at 50 miles an hour. Sherry leaves the ball game a half an hour later, traveling at 70 miles an hour. How long will it take Sherry to catch up with Sam? So hopefully you remember doing these kinds of problems. It's a distance equals rate times time problem. And what we did was we made a chart. So we've got Sam, we've got Sherry, distance, rate, time. Now it asks how long does it take Sherry to catch up with Sam. So we want to make her equation the one with the t in it. All right, so the distance, they're going to have, both of them are going to have the same distance because Sherry's catching up to Sam and they leave from the same place. Sherry's rate is 70, all right, she's a lead foot. Sam is a more conservative 50. I'm going to give the t to Sherry. All right, and then Sam left a half an hour before Sherry, so he's driving a half an hour extra. Okay, so we could do t here and t minus 0.5 here for Sherry, but then we would have to take our final answer and subtract 0.5 from it. So here we have d is equal to 70t and d is equal to 50 times t plus 0.5. All right, now I can take that 70t and plug it in right there. All right, distributing the 50. So subtract 50 from both sides. We'd have 20t is equal to 25. So t is equal to 25 over 20, which is 1.25 hours. All right, so there you go. I think you should look for these in the review problems and work one or two of those because some of you guys did have trouble with these along the way. Let's do number 22. All right, 22. Bring that into view. Ian spills his cash register on the floor, has to sweep up the coins. Got 742 coins, a mixture of pennies, nickels, dimes, and quarters. There are 10 times as many pennies as dimes, half as many quarters as dimes, If he has $24.60, how many dimes are there? All right, where we're going to have to make ourselves up a chart. The coin, we've got the penny, the nickel, the dime, and the quarter. The value of each coin, all right, so for penny would be 0.01, 0.05, 0.10, and 0.25. Now the number, so we want to know how many dimes are there. Let's put the X next to the one that we want. Dimes. Now we're going to read through the problems. There's 10 times as many pennies as dimes, so that'd be 10x. And it says half as many quarters as dimes, so that'd be 0.5x. It says there's a total, so nickel it doesn't say anything about, but we know there is a total of 742 coins. So the nickels would be 742 minus all of this, 10 plus 1 plus 0.5, so minus 11.5x. And then the total dollars, it's the value times the number. So 0.01 times 10x. All right, so that's going to be 0.1x. 0.05 times 742 minus 11.5x. So we'll distribute that, and you would get 37.1 minus 0.575x. This one's easy, 0.1x. And 0.25 times 0.5 would give you 0.125x. That has to add up to what? Look at the problem and you tell me for just a second. All right, 2460. So now we have an algebra equation, 0.1x plus 37.1 minus 0.575x plus 0.1x plus 0.125x is equal to 2460. All right, add everything up, all the x's. You end up with, if you go through all this, negative 0.25x is equal to, on the right side, you'd have negative 12.5. So x is equal to 50 dimes. All right, I'm not going to try to squeeze number 23 down in here, so pause if you need to. $23. 23 says Preston invests some of his retirement savings in a fund earning 4% and twice as much in a fund earning 6%. If he earns $304 combined interest, how much does he have in the 4% account? All right, we're just going to make a little table here. Fund 1, Fund 2. We have a rate. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put it into decimal. 4% would be 0.04. 6% is 0.06. The amount of the investment, well, let's give X to Fund 1, and he put twice as much in the 6% account, so put that. And then the interest, you would multiply those two together. So 0.04x, and 2 times 0.06 would be 0.12x. Those have to add up to $304. So 0.04x plus 0.12x equals 304. 0.16x is equal to 304. So divide both sides by 0.16 and you will get $1,900. So that's how much is in the 4% account. And that's what the question asked. If you needed to know how much was in the 6% account, you would just double it, right? Okay, so that would be $3,800. All right, let's move on to number 24 is a U-Work. It's been a while since I've had U-Work 1, so U-Work number 24, the answer is for bond 1, $750, and bond 2 is $2,250. Okay, I'm about to erase. Let's do 25. All right, so 25, we've got Edsel. Takes out a loan of $4,800 to start a business selling glass eyeballs. I think that was from an episode of Pawn Stars on the History Channel. Somebody brought in a whole case of glass eyeballs, which I thought was pretty cool. I wouldn't buy it, but it's kind of cool. If the eyeballs cost $28 to manufacture and are sold for $88 each, wow, that's expensive. How many must be sold to pay off the loan? Well, profit is equal to the revenue minus the cost. All right, so revenue is going to be the price, 88, and we're going to let X equal the number of units sold. So revenue would be 88 times X. The cost would be, they cost $22 to make. So this is a really good profit margin. So 22 times X. All right, so he needs to pay off the loan $4,800. So revenue 88X minus 22X. All right, so that is going to be 4,800. Excuse me, it's not 22. I apologize. 28. Were any of you screaming at the video? No, Mr. Woodard, it's 28. All right, so that's going to be 60X. 4,800 over 60 is 80 units. So it doesn't have to sell very many to pay off the loan, but who really wants to buy glass eyeballs? Is there a large market for glass eyeballs? I don't know. Number 26. All right, we're moving away from the word problems for just a little bit. We want to solve by factoring. 8x squared plus 10x equals 25. Let's set that equal to 0. This is a little bit of a harder one, factoring, so I wanted to give you one that was a little bit hard because you have several options with 8 and you have a couple of options with 25. So you could go through the process here. You could try 8 and 1. You could try 4 and 2, 2 and 4. What works out is 4x and 2x. And then it's going to be minus 5 and plus 5. So when you FOIL that back out, you'll get that. So what you do is to solve is to set each set of parentheses equal to 0. So 4x minus 5 is equal to 0. So x is equal to 5/4. And then we have 2x plus 5 is equal to 0. Set the second one equal to 0. And x would be negative 5/2. So that's what it means with solve by factoring. Some of you hate factoring, all right? So, but you're not going to get a ton of any of these types of problems because there's just 5 problems per each section. All right, I'm going to erase. Let's look at number 27. Okay, so 27 says solve with the quadratic formula. So maybe you will have a sticky note, or you learn the song and you don't have to worry about it. But negative b plus or minus the square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a right, so you've got, and the equation we're trying to solve is 3x squared minus 10x plus 5 is equal to 0. All right, so 3 is A, negative 10 is B, and 5 is C. All right, so we'd have negative B would be positive 10 plus or minus the square root of negative 10 squared minus 4 times 3 times 5 all over 2 times 3. All right, so that is going to be 10 plus or minus the square root of 40 over 6. Okay, so, and you can turn that into a decimal if you want. All right, take the square root of 40 in your calculator, and the answers are 2.72 or 0.613. Okay, 28, we have a triangle. So this is a right triangle, so we're going to end up probably using the Pythagorean theorem. 7x and x plus 1. Well, with the Pythagorean theorem, you know that a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. C is the hypotenuse. So this would be 7 squared plus x squared is equal to x plus 1. That's the hypotenuse, all squared. 49 plus x squared is equal to, let's multiply that out. Write it twice and FOIL it, or maybe you remember the formula. It's going to be x squared plus 2x plus 1 if you FOIL this out. All right, and now let's pull it all, the x squared on each side is going to cancel. So I would have 2x is 48 is equal to 2x, I believe. Subtract 1 from both sides. And you would have x is equal to 24. And you could check that. Just plug it in and see if it works. All right, about to erase. Let's take a look at 29. So it says find the lengths of the sides of an equilateral triangle of height 4 centimeters. So I'm going to draw equilateral triangle. All the sides are the same. Okay, the height we will represent with a dashed line. Okay, call that H. And all the sides are the same, so we can call each side X. I'm drawing this X way down because that height of that equilateral triangle, half of that is going to be half X. All right, 1/2 X. I'm going to draw this a little bigger because it's awful messy that way. Why not? So this is H, X, X. The whole thing is X. So this would be 1/2 X. The whole thing is X. So this is our right triangle. We can use the Pythagorean theorem. We would have, okay, the height, right? It says that the height is 4. Right? So height equals 4. So I would have 4 squared plus 1/2 x all squared is equal to the hypotenuse x squared. If someone messes this up, I love this problem because it's on the ACT so often. Here's where you would mess it up. So 16, people write this as 1/2 x squared. It's not 1/2 x squared. You have to square the half. It's 1/4 x squared. All right, so let's move that 1/4 x squared to the right. Subtract 1/4 x squared from both sides. You'd have 3/4 x squared. So we'll have 16 times 4/3 by flipping and multiplying is equal to x squared. That's going to be what, 64 over 3 is equal to x squared. And if you put that in your calculator and take the square root, you have x is 4.62. All right, so here we go on this one. Let's see what we have on number 30. All right, so we have proportion. So income tax varies directly with income. A person earning $50,000 per year pays $10,000 in taxes. What tax will a person earning $45,000 a year pay? Okay, direct proportion, you have this formula. X is equal to KY. We'll talk about inverse proportion in just a little bit. Okay, let's redo, since we're talking about taxes, all right, and income, all right, so we can say taxes is equal to some rate, K times income. I'm going to change the letters up here. Okay, so a person earning $50,000 a year pays $10,000 in taxes. So $10,000 is equal to K times $50,000. Solving for K, it's 10,000 over 50,000, right? So that is going to be 0.2. So how much would a person making 45,000 pay? All right, well, tax is equal to 0.2 times, we've got K now, we can put it right in here, and the income is 45,000. So that's going to be 9,000. All right. 31, I'm going to have you work. Give it a try. Let me know if you can't get it. But the answer is 166.67 pi. And the unit is centimeters cubed. It's a direct proportion problem. If you decide not to put pi in your answer, I think it's better if you do. But if you don't, just multiply by 3.14 on that one. Let's work number 32. So 32 says, if x varies inversely with y to the fourth, and x is 10 and y is 2, find x when y is 5. All right, x varies inversely. So with inverse, it's k over something. In this case, it's y to the fourth. X varies inversely, so think of a fraction, k over y to the fourth. So our first set of numbers, y is 2 and x is 10. So we have 10 is equal to k over 2 to the fourth. So k is going to equal 10 times 2 to the fourth. All right, so that's 10 times 16, right? So that would be 160. So now we want to know, find x when y is 5. So x is equal to k is 160. We just figured out that. Over 5 to the fourth. We just plug in k, plug in 5 for y, and you would get 0.256. All right, 33 is another inverse problem that I'm going to have you work. I'm working around a music stand here, so sorry about that. And the answer to 33 is 2.67 liters. So give 33 a try. That's a great place to stop for this video. And we will pick up on the next one.